Pap smears are no one's idea of a good time, but they are very necessary in preventing deaths from cervical cancer. From the 1st of December, however, there are big changes to Australia's national cervical screening program, and the Pap smear as you know it will be gone. Instead, it's being replaced with a superior test, which means you go in for one less often. Before you get too excited, the stirrups haven't gone anywhere. The samples are still collected in the same way, and the doctor's appointment won't be any less uncomfortable. To find out what has changed about the new screening program, we spoke to Daria Fielder, a GP at Sapphire Family Medical Practice in New South Wales. One of the biggest changes, of course, is that women aged 25 to 79 now need to go in for the test only 5 years instead of every 2. Dr. Fielder says this is due to changes in how pathologists test the samples, resulting in a test that is far superior to the original Pap smear test. We've got a new screening program called Cervical Screening Test, or CST. It replaces Pap smear, she says. The reason for the change is 2 factors. One is because the national immunization program includes a vaccine offered to girls and boys at school, which protects them against the human papillomavirus, HPV. As a result of that, we have had a significant reduction of cervical cancer in Australia. The other reason is that we are offering a superior test. So the actual test we are doing is more accurate than the Pap smear test. Listen, Jessie has the best recommendation ever. Dr. Fielder explains that sexually transmitted HPV can cause abnormal cells in the cervix that can develop into cervical cancer. The previous test looked for cells that had been changed by the HPV, whereas the new test tests for presence of HPV itself. The actual way it's conducted is exactly the same, so you still need to go see your doctor and have a gynecological examination with a speculum, she says. The cells are collected the same way, the difference is how they are processed. Those who've undergone HPV immunization might be wondering why they still need to have a screening at all. Dr. Fielder says that's because the vaccine only protects against certain strains of HPV, but not all. However, because all women under 25 should have had the HPV vaccination, and studies show women under 25 saw little benefit to the screenings, the age of your first screening can safely be raised to 25 years old. Dr. Fielder reassured those who were nervous about the lengthening of time between tests, that it's a decision based on thorough research. What we know is that even if you were to contract a high-risk HPV in that time after your screening in those 5 years, we know that on average it takes between 5 to 10 years for the virus to cause damage to the cells and for cancer to develop. This one simple Dr. Fielder says that you should still see your GP for a cervical screening test 2 years after your last Pap smear. She says there's no need to rush out to have the new test if you're not due.